We are going to just get started here. How is everybody? It is ADHD Real Talk Day. I keep wanting to say Topic Tuesday, but that is clearly not the case anymore. This is formally Topic Tuesday. So, welcome to ADHD Real Talk. I am Jorie Houlihan. I am an ADHD life coach, the host of the podcast ADHD and ... with Jorie Houlihan. And every Wednesday, I come on here at noon Central Time and take one thing from this week's podcast that I think you need to hear today and maybe expand on it a bit. So, first, let me know in the comments, have you ever sent a text to someone, they didn't reply for a couple of hours, and instead of thinking, okay, they're probably busy, you you convinced yourself that they hate you, that you're annoying, that you should just never speak again, you should throw your phone away, right? Or maybe you've had a situation where you did something very simple, like you dropped a piece of toast, right? And then felt this like genuine blinding rage, right? That seems a little over the top for dropping toast, right? Pretty sure that's not just me, you know. Um, that is emotional dysregulation. Isn't that fun? So that is emotional dysregulation. And oh wait, I did not. There we go. There we go. So that is emotional dysregulation. When you do something simple like drop toast and get this blinding rage, or when you find yourself thinking that people hate you simply because they didn't respond right away to something, that right there is emotional dysregulation. And so on this week on the podcast, I did a whole deep dive into why this happens, and because it's not, you're not being dramatic. I know we're called that often. You're not being immature or you're not too sensitive. There's actual biology behind this. And so today I want to pull out 3 of the tools from that episode that you can start using right now. So, really quick, because I know that you don't have time for a lecture right now. It's lunchtime for a lot of us. Here's what is going on in your brain when emotions go from 0 to 100 in 1.5 seconds, right? There are 2 key players. The first is the amygdala. Think of that as the watchdog, okay? This spots a threat, either real or perceived, and it barks. Then there is the prefrontal cortex. Now, that is your logic center, okay? Those are the brakes. And in a neurotypical brain, when the amygdala barks, the prefrontal cortex steps in and says, hey, you know what? It's not a big deal. It's just a piece of toast, whatever the situation is. You know, we don't need to get too upset. We're good. But in an ADHD brain, the connection between those 2 areas is weaker. And so the brakes are delayed. And so the amygdala starts barking, right? And unfortunately, because of that delay, the emotions just start flooding your whole system and you react before your logic brain even has a chance to know what's happening, right? And here's the part that I think most people don't know. Research shows that when people with ADHD we don't just feel things faster than other people, we tend to feel them for longer. It takes us longer to come back to like that baseline level, right? It takes more energy for our brains to return to baseline after an emotional spike. So again, this isn't a character flaw, all right? It's just a mechanical issue. It's a big one sometimes, but it's a mechanical issue. And while we cannot always stop the emotion from spiking, we can't outthink our biology because, that's biology's there for a reason. But we can get better at surfing the wave, so to speak, so that we don't totally wipe out and bring everyone with us. So that is why I have these 3 tools for you today. So the first tool is the HALT check. Okay. So this one shifted things for me personally. So just stick with me here. HALT stands for hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So here's the thing about ADHD brains. We often have what's called poor interoception. So it just basically means we don't always notice that we're hangry, usually for me, hungry or tired until we are already kind of deep in it. We skip meals, we run on fumes, and then something small happens and we completely lose it, right? And then we wonder why we reacted that way. I cannot tell you how many times I have felt a rage spike coming on, and prior to understanding my brain, it just would take over, right? And now that I better understand how this works for me, before I say or do anything, most of the time, I'm not saying all the time, but most of the time, I stop and ask myself, when did I last eat? Right? When did I last eat protein? Because probably 9 times out of 10, I'm just hangry. And also because I'm going through menopause, I'm sleep deprived, so I'm also in that tired category. So sometimes I have all of them going on. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Um, there's a lot of you that are in perimenopause right now who know that sleep deprivation. Perimenopause, menopause, that's a whole other episode, but it does impact these things. But here's what I've learned in general. If you can fix the biology first, the emotions often shrink on their own. All right. So the next time you feel yourself getting activated, right, before you do anything, before you say anything, run through halt. Am I hungry? Am I carrying anger from something else? Have I been isolated? Am I running on no sleep? Fix the physical thing first, and you are going to be surprised how often that's the whole problem. Okay. All right. Tool number 2, the 10-minute rule. So this one is for you impulsive reactors. You know who you are? You're one of my people. I know. All right. So this is for when you feel that urge to fire off a pointed text or quit your job via email or post something vague and aggressive on social media at 2 in the morning or break up with someone mid spiral. Don't do that. Don't do it yet. Set a timer for 10 minutes. You want to do that first. Tell yourself, if I still feel exactly this way in 10 minutes, I will send it. And then you're going to walk away from whatever that situation is. You're going to go get some water, take a little walk, do something to get away from the situation. Okay. Here's what usually happens. By about minute 9-ish, your prefrontal cortex, remember those are the brakes, has finally caught up. Okay. And you can then look at what you were about to do and think, wow, I am so glad I listened to Jorie because that would have been a disaster. Okay. It would have been a really bad idea most of the time. I have saved myself from so many emails and texts using this rule. I can't even begin to tell you. I I will write the whole thing out, okay? Because sometimes you do need to get it out of your head, right? But then I don't hit send. And sometimes I'll even to make sure I don't accidentally send it if it's an email, I will take the sender or who I'm sending it to out of the title thing. Don't put it in there if it's not already in there, and if it's in there, delete it. It just in case you accidentally hit return or send or whatever. Um, but I set the timer, and when it goes off, most of the time, I either delete it entirely or I will rewrite it as something that I can actually stand behind, right? That I'm not gonna look back and go, "Oh my god, why did I send that?" Okay? It's 10 minutes. I know for us, 10 minutes can feel like a lifetime, but I'm telling you, it's not that long, and set the timer, okay? It's gonna save you so much pain later. All right, tool number 3. So this tool comes from Dr. Dan Siegel, and it is called Name It to Tame It. When you are spiraling, try to verbally label the emotion and not in a vague way. Okay. I don't just mean saying, I'm angry because, yeah, no shit, we can see that. I mean, get specific. Say, I'm feeling overstimulated, or I'm feeling rejected, or I'm feeling like everything is too much and this thing right now is just the last straw, whatever it is. Okay. But this is why it works. So studies have shown that the simple act of labeling an emotion in a very specific way actually reduces the activity in the amygdala. Remember the barking dog? Because it forces your logic brain to come online. You have to pause and think about what you're actually feeling. And that tiny pause is enough to turn the volume down just a little bit. It creates a little distance between you and the feeling. Instead of you being the emotion, you are observing it. And from that place, you can have just slightly more control. Okay. So the next time you're spinning out, get specific. Angry is too vague. And remember, our brains don't like vagueness. It does not like vagueness, right? Say, what are you actually feeling? Overstimulated, rejected, scared, embarrassed, exhausted, at your limit, whatever it is, find the words, name it. And if you have kids, you know that saying, use your words. So I'm telling you now, use your words, okay? It applies to us too. It helps you so much more than you think. All right? So, there you go. 3 tools. The halt check, 10-minute rule, and the name it to tame it. None of these will stop the emotion from happening. That's biology. And I also want to be clear about something. Emotions are good even when they feel bad. Emotions are there to tell you something, okay? They may feel bad, but they are signals, okay? Whether it's happy, sad, frustrated, whatever it is, it's telling you something. All right? So you don't really want to stop the emotion entirely. But these tools, they're going to help you work with your brain instead of fighting it, and that is really what this is all about. Your intense emotions are not a character flaw. Excuse me, my nose is itchy. Ugh, this weather, oh my gosh. I don't know about you guys. Our weather's just been all over the place, and my allergies and head and everything else is a mess. Anyway, so just remember you have a high performance engine with bicycle brakes, as Dr. Ed Hallowell likes to say, and that is so true, right? Having that can be really hard sometimes, but it also means that you feel the quote unquote good emotions more intensely too. It means you feel joy and excitement, right? Passion, love more intensely than most people. Okay. And that same intensity is what makes you passionate and empathetic and creative and fun. So it's not all gloom and doom. All right. You're not broken. You're just operating on a different frequency. Now, if you do want to go deeper on all of this, the biology, the rejection sensitive dysphoria, the full emotional dysregulation picture, definitely go check out this week's episode of ADHD. And the link is in my bio. Or you can go to the ADHD and podcast.com and you can see it there or hear it there. And I'm also on YouTube. So anyway, but you can go check it out. Season 2, episode 10. And all right, so now it's your turn. I want you to drop in the comments, which of these 3 tools are you going to try first? Because I want to know. And as always, please be kind to your brain today. All right. The whole world's on fire right now. We need to be as kind to our brains as we can. So please be kind to your brain. And I'm going to see you here next Wednesday. And let me just check here to see if I have anything else going on. I don't think I do. All right. I will see you guys next Wednesday. Have a great one. Oh, no.